With the looming deadline for Israel's 2020 budget fast approaching, the approval process has ground to a halt amid political fallout between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his partner in Israel's unity government, Benny Gantz. The main dispute blocking the passing of a 2020 budget is the demand by Gantz to pass a two-year document as stipulated in his party's coalition agreement. Netanyahu, however, is keen to pass a 2020 budget only, after which work could begin on a framework for 2021. Now, to discuss the issues at hand and analyse the potential outcomes, I'm joined in studio by Dr. Alex Coman, value creation expert at the Interdisciplinary Centre in Herzliya. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Now, explain to us which one of these scenarios, in your opinion, is better here. We've got the one being presented by Netanyahu, which is the short and sharp one, and then we've got this longer-term scenario presented by Gantz. Which one do you think is the better option here?
Well, first of all, the biennial budget was created by Netanyahu. It was established in 2009 when Gantz was nowhere in sight. And the beauty of it is that you want longevity in terms of government, long-term projects. Now, what they call annual budget is not in reality annual, because by the time it will be voted on, it will be like a 3-month budget. So it's not worth all the effort, because you need to calculate the budget for 1 year, which is actually 3 months. Then you need to negotiate it, which is very bloody, because government ministries are not willing to have their budgets cut. So having all this headache and setup for just 3 months is ridiculous. And doing it for a year and 3 months is much more intelligent, because you're looking into the long term. And this way, you make the same effort, but you run fluently for a year and 3 months.
But isn't it harder to plan a long-term budget during a time of crisis like the one that we're in right now?
It is. It is. We have a measure in economics called volatility, which basically measures how hectic the economy is. And now we're at the height of volatility because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So yes, we don't know exactly how much money would go to help unemployment. We don't know when the economy will recover, etc. But governments have a mechanism for that. And the mechanism is basically transfer budgets. So within the budget, you can transfer money from ministry to ministry. So for instance, if you don't have tourism, which we do not have, you can transfer their budget to unemployment, etc. Right. And if you have a bad problem, you can pass a law and extend the budget. So this is not something unheard of.
Now, according to the Prime Minister, though, all the economists and people within the finance ministry are all in support of his short-term budget. How do you explain this?
5 minutes ago, they were not. But if you remember, yes, Prime Minister, well, this is the case where we don't have deep state, because the bureaucrats understood what the Prime Minister is headed, and as a result, they changed sides. A very short while ago, they were completely for a biannual budget, and now they switch positions because they know which side the butter is spread.
Now, if we do go to elections again, which may be a possibility, does this mean that the budget will then be delayed again? And what impact will that have if it does?
No doubt. In fact, the massive speculation is that the reason Netanyahu is pushing so hard for this 3 months budget is because he's looking for a pretext to break the government and go into elections. So it's like the chicken and egg. The motivation is, let's go to elections. As a result, we drive to make sure that there's no budget. We have Kahol Lavan, blue-white, is part of the coalition, but the ministers are not exposed to the budget. So how can they be part of the budgetary process if they're not exposed to it? So basically, the argument is Netanyahu is driving to go to new elections, and therefore he's making this a casus belli. This is what will drive us there.
And there's also a push to have the budget set back till November as well, which means cutting it even shorter again.
Yeah.
What would the point of that be?
I have no idea. There's no rationale to move all these mountains and negotiate and calculate and then do it for 10 minutes and done. What's the point?
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm not intelligent enough to
let's go back to the time of crisis that we're currently in now. Like, there is a lot of money that's needing to be put in other avenues.
Absolutely.
As you said, tourism is not being spent, but healthcare is obviously falling behind. Isn't it important that we do get this budget sooner rather than later?
Absolutely. What we see with the government is very much driven into improvisation. So you see many decisions are made like on the weekend, and then they are changed, like shutting down restaurants, opening them, etc., swimming pools, etc. So the point is that you would like to see a government have some horizon. And as part of that horizon, you want to have a budget. And yes, reality is very active, very volatile, so you might have to go beyond the budget. But we would like to see something in the longer term, which means that people, because a major component of the economy is psychology. And if you have the impression that the government is really panicking, this funnels down into the population, and so people don't spend money. You want people to feel confident, to say, our government knows what it does, and so we will go and we'll spend our money on idiotic stuff, and this would restart the economy. That's what we're looking for. Yes.
Okay, Alex Coman, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.